So this is our last lesson for this unit. What? It's a little warm in here. Alright, so we are going to do more about equations of circles. Okay. All right. So in this case, instead of given the equation, we are going to create the equation with the given information. So starts out again, like every lesson, starts out real nice and easy. If I know the center and the radius, I can write the equation. So we have, don't forget you have to change your signs, because it is x minus h and y minus k. So this is h, k, and this is r. So x minus 5 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 2 squared, which is 4. All right. Now in some cases, they give us diameter. Okay, so we know that the radius there is 9. And since r squared would then be 81, we have h and k. So we have x plus 2 squared plus y plus 11 squared is equal to 81. And then for number 5, for an attempt to match you a little bit, again we have h and k. This k, since k is 0, you're going to have x plus 4 squared plus y squared. Wherever we have a 0, we just write the variable squared. All right. And if we want to write r squared would be the square of the square root, which would cancel out. So this would just be 47. So not really much of a point to do 2, 4, and 6. Okay, I trust that you guys are being in honors. Grasp the situation. We can just go ahead and move on. All right. Now for 7, 8, 9, and 10, if the circumference, which is 2 pi r, is 6 pi, so 6 pi is equal to 2 pi r, we're going to divide by 2 pi to get that the radius is 3. So r is 3, which means r squared would be 9. Now we can write the equation x plus 1 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 9. Now for number 8, since our circumference in that case would be 17 pi is equal to 2 pi r. In this case, when we divide by 2 pi, all right, we get what, 8.5? So 8.5 squared, we need to find, that's 72.25. So r squared would be 72.25. So writing the equation here, we have x minus 9 squared plus y minus 12 squared equals 72.25. Now, for number 9, since area is equal to pi r squared, we can cancel the pi's. Square root of 16 would just be 4. Well, it's really, you don't need to do that. You don't need to find really r, because we need r squared. So we have everything we need. X plus 8 squared plus y plus 11 squared is equal to 16. Because you want to leave that as r squared, so that's it. Which means our last one here, x minus 2 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 361, because you're just going to drop the pi. All right. Now, if you're given the graph, you will need to find the center. Now, that is going to take your ability to locate the center. It will be an exact coordinate. It will not be any partial fraction or decimal coordinates. So here, the center will be this coordinate here. And for number 12, the center, that coordinate here. Now, one way you can tell that that's the center is that it is equidistant to the circle, up, down, left, and right. So here we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I now know my radius is 5. So that equidistance is my radius. My center is at 3, negative 2. And now I can write the equation. X minus 3 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals r squared. And for number 12, just check, make sure that's the center. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, in case you cannot just automatically see the center, okay? In case your spatial awareness is not the same level as mine, apparently. Okay? Which is fine. Not everybody's the same person. All right? One easy way to do this is to count the diameter. So, from the top to the bottom, you should be able to find the top and bottom pretty easily, though. Count that and divide it by 2. Right in the middle of that. Or if you just want to draw the diameter here, where do they intersect? Well, you can just draw it out and see where the 2 diameters intersect. They have to intersect at the center. Okay. So now my center is at negative 1, 3. My radius we just said was 7. So here we go. X plus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 49. All right, now this is what you're going to see on the test. I mean, you may get questions like that on the test as well. We'll look at the test review, which I gave you guys yesterday. But these questions are going to show up on the test. You're going to need to know that I'm not sure if the distance formula or the midpoint formula. You should know those anyway, okay? Because we've dealt with those quite a bit throughout the year. But just in case you forget, distance formula is d is equal to the square root. And again, you can do this one of 2 ways. You could write this as x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Or you could write distance as the square root of delta x squared plus delta y squared. Just like for midpoint, we have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or delta y over delta x. Anytime you have x minus x, y minus y, that's just the change in x and the change in y. Now, I prefer to do delta x and delta y because it saves on writing, and I know how much I don't like to write. Okay? So, it does take one step out of the equation. It takes the subtraction out, and it automatically goes to what the difference is. Okay? So we need to do both of these. First, we're going to find the center. Okay? No, sorry, they already give us the center. We need the midpoint formula when it comes to questions down here, 17, 18, when they give you the endpoints of the diameter. So you have to find the center for 17, 18, 19, 20. But nicely enough, for 13 through 16, you just have to find the radius using the distance formula. So radius would be the square root. Let's set change in x from 9 to 7. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, because you're going to square it anyway. All right, it doesn't matter if it goes up 2, down 2, but we know the difference is 2. Okay, it does not matter positive or negative because you're going to square it. All right, from 10 to 4, that's 6. And give me 4 plus 36, which is the square root of 40. And since I want r squared, I'm just going to drop the square root, 40. So my equation is x minus 9 squared plus y minus 10 squared is equal to 40. So go ahead and try 14. All right, we get it done pretty quick. Okay. So radius here would be the square root. Change from 1 to negative 7 is 8. Change from negative 5 to negative 13 is also 8. So the square root of 64 plus 64 is the square root of 128. And again, since I don't really care what the radius is, I want r squared. R squared would just be 128. So x minus 1 squared plus y plus 5 squared equals 128. All right, 15, 16 are pretty much the same kind of question. So here, radius would be the square root of change in x would be 1 squared plus change in y would be 16 squared. Gives you the square root of 1 plus 256. 257, which means r squared would be 257. So x minus 2 squared plus y plus 5 squared equals 257. All right. So last one here. Change in x is 7. Change in y is 4. Square root of 49 plus 16 gives you the square root of 65, which means r squared equals 65. So x plus 2 squared plus y squared equals 65. All right. So for 17 and 18, we're doing the same thing, but if we find the distance between these 2 points, we are finding the diameter. So once we are done, we do need to half this value. Actually, no, there's an easier way to do this. Let's find the center first. Let's use the midpoint, find the center, and then use the center to one of these endpoints. That way we won't have to worry about halving these values. So, center. Now, center is easy enough because it is just midpoint. So, what point is in between -14 and -10? -12. All right. Now, if you can't do it in your head, you can use the formula. Did I write slope instead of midpoint on the notes? I think I wrote slope instead of midpoint notes. I did. Awesome. Midpoint is the average of your x and y's. Sorry. So x plus x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. My apologies on that. I'm used to doing distance and slope from all the quadrilateral stuff we did last time. All right. So, halfway between 1 and 9. Again, if you add them together, divide by 2, you get 5. So now we can use this point, and it doesn't matter which one we use because they should be the same distance away. All right. Distance between -12 and -14 or -10 is the distance of 2. And distance between 5 and 9 and 5 and 1 is the distance of 4. So that gives you 4 plus 16, which is 20. So that means r squared is equal to 20. So now we have our center, x plus 12 squared plus y minus 5 squared is equal to 20. All right. So, center for 18. If you add 6 and -2 together, you get 4. Half of 4 is 2. And if you add -13 and 15 together, you get 2. Half of that is 1. So now I know my equation is x plus minus 2 squared plus y minus 1 squared. I just don't know the radius yet. My radius is the square root, the distance between my center and one endpoint. Okay. Between 6 and 2, that distance is 4. Between, let's say, 15 and 1, that's 14. That gives you r is equal to the square root of 16 plus 196, square root of 212, which means r squared equals 212. So go ahead and try 1920. And all right. So center halfway between 6 and -4 is 2. No, it's not. It's 1. If you add them together, you get 2. Divide that by 2, you get 1. All right. Negative 16 plus 8 is negative 8. Half of that is negative 4. So my center is at negative 1. And if you want to use the formula, go ahead and use the formula. Now that I wrote it correctly. All right, radius. Distance between 1 and 6 is 5, so 5 squared. Distance between negative 4 and negative 16 is negative 12. Or 12, because it really doesn't make a difference. You're going to square it anyway. So that gives me that r is equal to the square root of 25 plus 144, which is the square root of 169. So r squared is 169. So x minus 1 squared plus y plus 4 squared is equal to 169. And same for the last one, center. 8 and negative 10 make negative 2. Divide that by 2, you get negative 1. 7 and negative 13 make negative 6. Half of that is negative 3. So again, x plus 1 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals r squared. So r is equal to negative 1 to negative 10 is 9. Again, it doesn't make a difference which point you use. You could use both because it will be the same distance. Negative 1 to positive 8 is also 9. All right. Negative 3 to negative 13 is 10. So that gives you the square root of 81 plus 100. So r is the square root of 181, which means r squared equals 181. And that is it for the notes. Our entire unit is done. So, work on the homework. Get that done. Tomorrow, we will have an escape room activity.